minus 10 degrees C on the way to this race in Aubagne, driving along train tracks. The course wasn't set up when we got there, so quite difficult to get some practice laps in, but we've ridden this course a few times before, so we had a rough idea. The course featured more water than previous years, which many of the riders didn't like the look of, and with a bit of testing we found where was a good place to ride through, because there's quite nasty and deep possibility of crashing. So the children walked the course, and it's super cold. First race is these super young riders just crashing in a straight line. It's so muddy. He crashed, so he only got P2, and Chloe was still on the course, slipping over, but managing to complete the lap. Next category, just so difficult for these young riders. And then what's this under 11s category? Mountain bike getting tangled up with Tom's teammate. The mountain bikes with their handlebars stick out and often cause tangle ups like that. He got a bit hurt from that. And you can see by their race how hard Tom's race was going to be. Manualing across that, very nicely done. And the kids were crying after that race. They're in pain. It was so cold. Alright, so off they go. Tom is in trousers. You've probably never seen Tom race in trousers before. It was that cold. And he's also got long sleeves on. Starting on the second row of the grid. 5 riders per row. And they're starting at the bottom of the hill. Mountain bikes have to start at the back of the field. This is the cyclocross championship. And he's appeared in P11, which is reasonably good for Tom off the start line. And there's 40 riders today. There's the leader in white, already disappearing into the distance. P2, P3, Raphael in P4, Sasha in P5. And this mountain bike making a pass. I had to pull the tape out from underneath his handlebar. And Tom is in P12, and he's in good company. The rider in the yellow and red ahead of him, we know very well, and the rider behind, Fanny. These 3 have been battling many times this year. And then down the hill they go, to the bottom of the park, to a leafy corner. And you can see so many riders. So I'm not sure what happens here, but the rider in front, something goes on. It's not really on video, but Tom emerges in P11 as he comes through the water splash into the second water splash. And then around to the third water splash with all the routes. Only one nice line through here. And Tom making the move up into P10 now. Around the last corner and up the hill again. Down into this tricky left-hander. The mountain bike makes their way through, and Tom just needs to follow this. This will be a faster rider. And there's quite a few laps of this short course. Tom was already complaining about the cold. And all the riders are suffering today. I've got Tom in P11 at this point of the race, out of 40 riders. And a lot of fast mountain bikes coming from the back, catching back up. And even with full gloves and full winter kit, it is cold for the riders. Tom taking his time through the water splash. Getting ready to make a move into P10. A lot of riders on Tom's tail. Here is the leader. And you see Raphael getting into the back markers already. Tom making his way around 1 and 2. So that is P10 so far for Tom. Around halfway through the race. Heading down the hill with Fanny still behind. Round they come. Tom needs to make this pass on the back marker. Good job. There could be another move into P9 soon up the hill, but plenty of riders chasing Tom still. And Tom has made the move into P9. Up ahead, Raphael and Sasha still battling just like yesterday. And Tom has got many riders chasing him behind. And he's lost the place to the mountain bike there in the dark top. And Tom looking to re-overtake this mountain bike. And he's back into P8. And the rider ahead he's never overtaken before in a race. Up into P7. And then quickly back past. Tom's back down to P8. The rider ahead is one of these unbeatable great riders. But today it was so cold. I think a lot of these riders were suffering. Tom couldn't change gear after the second lap. His hands were so cold. And he said he felt unwell. Anyway, they zigzag down. And the rider ahead making a good pass here on the back marker. And Tom, he can't change gear. His hands are too cold, so he just decides to roll along behind this rider. And we're coming to the end of this race soon. Not quite the final lap yet. And Tom is in P8 and he's really suffering. And there's still a race on. There's 2 riders behind. As they enter the final lap, the rider behind tries to make a move around Tom. And up those 4 riders go. Here comes Raphael, riding nicely. Tom making a critical move around the outside of the back marker. Raphael with a good result today. Sasha surviving the course with a good result as well. And somewhere back there, Tom has dropped down to P9, losing a lot of time down the hill. The rider in green is a back marker, but the rider behind Tom is not a back marker. He's going to lose that place. He's down to P10 now. As they head into the final corner, there are a few riders ahead of Tom. It's going to be crazy. The final corner is a bumpy, weird one. I can't see what's going on, but Tom has made up to P9. He's complaining about a move or something, and you can see the riders are frozen cold. Sasha on the floor, and Tom took around 20 minutes to warm back up. He wanted to go to the hospital because he couldn't feel his hands. Tom's friends and Chloe getting P2, not exactly ecstatic with P2, and good for them. Here are the results, with a great win for the winner, and Tom in P9 after all that battling. 40 riders, just a crazy day out, so cold, and this guy turned up on a bike from 1890. Crazy.